Habit kits are designed to make it easier to build and break habits. The best way to do this can be non-intuitive. Instead of trying to motivate, convince, or push yourself, we'll help you focus on greasing the wheel. You'll work around and remove obstacles or friction, so results come faster and with less effort. This kit will help you make an effective habit plan that works for you, not against you. Let's get started. The Quick Start Guide includes 2 sets of instructions, the top row for making habits and the bottom row for breaking habits. We encourage you to watch both sections in this video, since elements of making a habit are also used in breaking a habit. To launch a habit, get very specific about what you want to do in step 1, and start as small as possible with an easy 1 minute or less micro habit. It's not only easier to form a habit this way, it's more effective. The goal for week 1 is simple repetitions. That's the foundation of habit change. We're going to start building a habit of going for a 1-minute walk right after lunch. To be clear, if we feel like walking for 10 minutes, that's great. But for week 1, the only goal is to establish the habit framework with 1 minute of walking. For step 2, let's take a moment to talk about what a cue is. Cues can be an event, activity, situation, or even a sound. It's whatever signals you to react with a certain behavior. For example, when your phone rings, the ringtone is the cue to potentially answer your phone. The best cue to use on your habit card is an event or activity that happens daily at a regular time, like finishing a meal, leaving work, or waking up in the morning. This allows you to stack or link your new habit to your normal routine. Pro tip: avoid using a time of day, like 2 p.m. as a cue, as research shows that time cues are not very reliable because you'd need to be constantly looking at the clock to know when to perform your new habit. In our habit card, the cue is finishing lunch. In step 3, consider any deeper motivations for the new habit. Why does this really matter to you? For our example, a person working at home may want more movement in their day and the stress relief of getting fresh air and getting out of the house. Step 4 is our favorite because it's easy and incredibly effective. Get creative and don't underestimate how powerful a tiny change in your environment can be. We'll use the chair we sit in during lunch and place our shoes next to the chair. These items serve as the landmark, the place where the habit is cued. Creating your own landmark will help link your cue to the reaction that follows and help make your habit easier. We could also invite a family member or roommate to walk with us, which could be more enjoyable and uses the intense power of social influence to keep our new habit moving. Pro tip: this step takes a little time to develop, but it can have a big effect in keeping your habit on track. Think of at least 2 items for this section and implement them as soon as you finish that section. For building a new habit, you can skip the section on making an old habit harder. Now, after making your final edits on the habit plan, it's time to start tracking. Write the habit you're launching above the tracking calendar. Then, take the first chance you get to perform your new microhabit. Pro tip: if it feels like effort, make the microhabit even smaller to make sure you can start today and check that first box off. For example, if you started with a 2-minute walk after lunch, make it 1 minute instead, or just put your shoes on and step outside for a moment. It may feel ridiculous, but it can work. When you check off your card, be sure to acknowledge and reward yourself with a quick positive gesture. You can smile, nod, or say something out loud like, "Done!" You can also share your daily progress with a photo of your tracking card on social media, where friends can cheer you on. It's important to know ahead of time that no one's habit building is perfect, and everyone will eventually miss a day, particularly when your routine is disrupted by travel or visitors. Try not to be critical of yourself, and yet also try not to miss 2 days in a row. To do that, return to performing your smallest micro habit. This is what habit building looks like and how you can build results. When you finish tracking for a week on the first launch card, copy your plan into a second launch card immediately for consistency. Don't hesitate to adapt your plan so that it really works for you. If you finish 2 weeks and consistently tracked 6 out of 7 days, or 4 out of 5 days for weekday-only habits, you can either finish out your launch cards or begin 2-week tracking with the included expand cards. You're now ready to launch a new habit, and we encourage you to start right away. Now let's review how to break a habit. We'll follow the 5-step instructions on the bottom row of the Quick Start Guide. The first step is important, so take your time identifying the cue. Explore what your habit's cue may be. Think about the situation, feelings, people, sights, sounds, or general time of day, like after breakfast or before lunch, when your cue arises. In our example, we're trying to break the habit of checking our phone constantly when we're working. We may notice that when we need a break from work or when we feel anxious, there's an urge to check our phone for news, emails, or texts. Take your time to explore all the possibilities. You can adjust and change your cue as you progress through the habit cards. Remember how removing friction makes forming new habits easier? Well, this time, our job is to add friction. To make your old habit harder in step 2, get creative. In our example, we decided that we don't need to be notified by our phone every time an email arrives. It's incredibly distracting, so we'll turn off that notification setting. We'll also start keeping the phone out of sight during work blocks to reduce the temptation to constantly check it. If you keep looking for ways to make your old habit harder to perform and your new response easier, you'll ensure your success in time. For step 3, ask yourself, what are the core reasons you want to change this habit? When you do a gut check, what does it tell you? In our example, what we really want is the peace of mind that comes from not checking our phone and knowing that our work gets done. For step 4, consider a new response to the cue. For example, when we're working and we feel the urge to check our phone too often, we can pause for a deep breath or two instead of picking up the phone. We can also ask ourselves with sincere curiosity, what else do we need? Could we need to take a step away from our computer and go outside for a quick break, for instance? By approaching your own habits with curiosity and not criticism, you'll be able to navigate your own habits with increasing skill. Whatever you choose for a new response to your cue, make sure it feels rewarding and doable. For our example, we find taking a deep breath fairly relaxing, which feels rewarding. To make this new habit easier, we could set a timer for the next time we can check our phone. If 1 hour is too difficult to wait to check our phone, aim for 30, 15, or even 5 minutes, based on how strong the old habit is. The amount of time is less significant. What matters is that you gradually increase the space between the cue and old habit, while replacing it with a new, healthier habit. Now that you've set a new habit or response, let's go back and add ways to make that new habit easier. We could simply turn off our phone and put it in a desk drawer to start. If that isn't possible because truly urgent calls are expected, we could use the Do Not Disturb setting that only allows calls from specific contacts to ring while we're trying to stay focused. This last section of the habit card is essential for building and breaking a habit. You'll want to train yourself to recognize when a cue arises so you can remember to perform your new habit. Make sure you do the following. Keep your habit kit in view each day. Fill out the habit-based plan again when you start a new habit card. And don't forget to track your progress each day. To master recognizing your cues and habits, a mindfulness practice can help. We have more information on mindfulness on our website. In the meantime, start practicing the 3 R's. Recognize the cue, react with the new response, and recall the desired result. Congratulations! You're taking your first steps to successful habit building. For more help, insider tips, and frequently asked questions, check out the FAQ at thehabitinstitute.com and subscribe to our newsletter to get more helpful information about building healthy habits.